And well, heavily invested in AI in India and globally. That's the word coming in from Evan Kotsovinos, who's the Vice President of Privacy, Safety and Security at Google. Let's go across and listen into this exclusive conversation he had with Sumita Karir.
First things first, I want to get a sense of how are you looking at the India market with respect to AI. Globally as well, you've released your models, the kind of uptake that you're seeing for your models here in the Indian market.
Yeah, India is a hugely important market for us. We are fortunate enough to have great adoption of all of our products, including our AI products. And of course, that comes with great responsibility to keep users in India safe. So we're very excited about it, very committed to the safety of our users here.
Right. So when you talk about India being a very prominent market in the AI ecosystem and the fact that you're committed to the safety of users here, I want to get a comparative analysis of where India really stands as far as your global markets are concerned. You're operating across globe. So where does India figure as far as the growth trajectory of your global markets is concerned?
India has a very exciting demographic. It's the growth engine for the world in years to come. And we're fortunate enough for our products to be ranked top or being one of the top sort of used products in the country. So that combination is very exciting for us. And we want to make sure it stays that way. We want to make sure people enjoy our products and feel safe using our products in India.
Right. So you talk about product safety. So let me also bring your attention and your notice to, some sort of regulatory measures that the Indian government has taken with respect to using AI responsibly. There have been some amendments that have been proposed in the Information Technology Act to sort of counter deep fakes and counter misinformation with respect to AI. How are you sort of processing those, initiatives? Because it does put greater responsibility on companies.
Yes, these are very new, so we are going to go line by line and understand the details and the nuances in the days and weeks to come. But directionally, we're very aligned with where the government and the policymakers are going, both in terms of the DPDPA Act on data protection and in terms of the discussion on content provenance and watermarking. We have our own watermarking and provenance technologies, SynthID, and we're very invested in C2PA, which is another provenance coalition out there. We believe that AI-generated content should be labeled as such. We make sure that content that's created with Gemini is watermarked. So in spirit, we're in support of the direction.
All right. You will, of course, be working towards, meeting that end goal. And of course, like you stated, that user safety is the utmost priority that Google has. But let me also ask you about the challenges that a company like Google, for instance, faces in a market like India, which not only is very diverse, but has a diverse set of demographic, diverse set of languages.
Yes, very much so. We always focus on contextualizing the technologies and the best practices that we bring from the rest of the world. And also making them available in other languages. So for example, we have this program for digital awareness on safety that I talked about earlier called LEO. LEO is focusing on parents and teachers and training parents and teachers on how to keep children safe online. We're launching LEO in English in 2025, and then we're making it available in other languages next year. So we're always contextualizing and getting to other languages.
Right. But in terms of your growth, because Google has various other products as well, right? But AI, it seems globally, the valuations of tech companies have been soaring. In fact, investors have been showcasing a lot of interest in this particular space. When you look at the whole bouquet of Google's products that it offers, not just in India, but globally, how do you really see the progression of AI as a business unit within the Google umbrella for the India market?
Yeah, so globally and for India, we've been investing extremely heavily in AI. We're launching products faster than we ever have. We're seeing great adoption of our products, both Gemini, the application, as well as AI overviews and AI mode in search and a lot more. You must have played with Nano Banana. If you haven't, you should. And so we're seeing great adoption, great traction. Like I said, India is at the forefront of adoption of our products. So we're very excited about that combination.
All right. Thank you very much, Evan, for taking the time out and speaking to us here on 80 Now.
Thank you for having me.
And moving on then, Tata Consultancy Services has announced a strategic partnership with global alternate asset management firm TPG to accelerate the growth of its AI data center businesses, Hypervolt. This collaboration marks a significant step in TCS's AI ambition. My colleague Anurag Joshi is getting us more on the story. Let's go across and listen to him.
TCS has secured a $1 billion investment from private equity firm TPG to boost its AI data center business. TCS strategic partnership with TPG will boost the growth of the AI data center business called Hypervault. The investment will support Hypervault's GW scale AI ready infrastructure build, and the partnership is, according to TCS, is a significant milestone in its ambition to become the largest AI led tech services company. TCS Hypervolt will be funded through equity investment from both TPG and TCS and also debt. Both partners combined have committed to invest up to 18,000 crore over the next few years. TPG of this will invest 8,820 crore rupees, that's $1 billion, to have a stake between 27.5% to 49% in Hypervolt. And bringing in this investment from TPG as a strategic investment partner will drive returns to the shareholders of TCS, the company said in a statement today. This funding of TPG is through TPG Rise Climate and its Global South initiative. Additionally, TPG is also partnering through its Asia real estate business.
And moving on to the other big exclusive of the day, then Karnataka will achieve its IT export target of 11.5 lakh crore rupees, well ahead of its 2030 deadline. That's the word coming in from the state's IT and Electronics Minister Priyank Kharge. In this exclusive chat with ET Now, the minister also spoke on the recent economy between Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, saying that the states shouldn't quote-unquote scavenge for investments. The minister also spoke to us at length about the upcoming Bengaluru airport, saying that a location for it should be announced in a couple of weeks from now. Here's a slice of this conversation.
Well, we are already achieving close to 5.3 lakh this year, and the idea is to double it in the next 4 years through services and through GCCs. And I think we will be achieving that much before the targeted policy deadline.
And interestingly, the policy also makes mention of a generation of close to 90 lakh jobs in the same period. But the question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind is that in the era of AI and where companies are looking to shore down the number of jobs per employee, given that automation has come to stay, how viable is this target that you've set for yourself?
Just look at the ecosystem that we have built over a period of time. We corner 47% of all investment in global capability centers, and now whether it is AI or deep tech, it's getting into various sectors as well, in every possible vertical. And we are supremely confident that we'll be able to achieve it only for the fact that we have that kind of human resource here, that kind of talent pool availability here, that is not catering to the Bengaluru ecosystem alone. Now, if you look at the program that we have devised, the Nipuna program, it says skill locally, work globally. So why can't people who are being skilled in Bengaluru work in Brussels, Brisbane, Britain, anywhere across the globe? And people are looking for our talent pool. And we want to ensure that our reskilling and upskilling programs make our human resource the most employable talent pool in the world.
Right.
So if you ask me, that this too we will be able to achieve in the next couple of years.
Speaking of competition and SOPs as well, there's been a lot of acrimony in the recent past, especially on social media with regard to Andhra's investments. Retorts from yourself, also Tamil Nadu, taking some criticism on account of losing that South Korean footwear brand to Andhra. The competition is heating up among South Indian states. But I have to ask you, is this good for competitive federalism? We've spoken about it a long time, but the fact that there is so much acrimony with regard to these attractions itself, even considering the fact that Andhra is truly part of the NDA and that could perhaps add to the political flavor that these discourses bring. I saw Mr. PTR here yesterday, your counterpart from Tamil Nadu. So while I understand there is some bonhomie and some warmth, is there also some acrimony between these states and their competition for investments?
No, see, of course there will be competition for investments. All of our vying for the same piece of the pie.
Sure, but the acrimony of it.
Yeah, I mean, see, what happens is we need to see where it's coming from. You cannot scavenge for investments based on somebody's, tweet or anything. Let's be fair. Let us pitch, like you pitch, them pitch, and may the best man win. No problems with that. But looking at, just because somebody complains on a pothole, you pick that up and say that, okay, look, this is what, you can come here, we will do this. Or there's some other social problem, you pick that up and say that that's scavenging for investments, right? We have never done that, and we don't need to do that.
And now one of the key takeaways of Karnataka's new startup policy is that the state is looking beyond at Bengaluru towards building its new big push in the startup space. In an exclusive chat with ET Now, the state's IT secretary N. Manjula told us that towns like Mysore, Hubli and Dharwad were on the government's radar, while sectors like semiconductors and deep tech would stay in focus. Let's take a look at this slice of that conversation.
Karnataka is, and more so Bangalore, is a startup capital of the world, we can say. So we have more than 18,000 startups coming from Karnataka. And then this is a startup policy, 2530 is a second version. That means we already had one policy before, and there's a lot of learning which has gone into it. And now the government is strategically focusing beyond Bangalore. So we have already identified 6 potential clusters, and of which in 2 phases we are taking them up. And then the phase will be majorly concentrating on Mysore, Hubli Dharwad region and Mangalore region. Apart from that, we'll eventually follow it with Kalburgi, Shimoga and Tumkur regions also, because all of these are potential areas. So the startups, already we have more than 5,000 or 6,000 startups, emanating from these areas. So the focus now is to also push them further by building a similar ecosystem which we have in Bangalore beyond Bangalore areas. So that's why, as you mentioned, the 7-pillared approach, the strategy which we have devised, starting from the nurturing, that is the student entrepreneurship onwards, up to the stage of market access and funding them. That is the approach which we have taken up. So there'll be a lot of incubators, accelerators, centers of excellences, etc., which will be parallelly, built up to support this initiative. So we are confident that the next generation entrepreneurs will be supported through this initiative. 25,000 in the whole state is the minimum we are expecting, and then at least 10,000 coming from the in the neighborhood of Bangalore.
Absolutely, and very admirable, no doubt, that these numbers are something that you hope to achieve, and especially with significance to outside Bengaluru in these clusters that you mentioned. But if I were to ask you, what exactly will be the focus areas for you from a sectoral point of view? I know for a fact that Bengaluru has had its key core areas in tech, deep tech as well, space tech is another area too. But going forward, even as you expand the volumes of startups that you hope to nurture out of Karnataka and outside Bengaluru, which are the key focus areas for you that could play into this plan?
Yeah, rightly said. Bangalore, of course, is like multi-sectoral in that sense, because we have a lot of academic institutions which can handhold and nurture and even the industry partners who are there to nurture. Whereas beyond Bangalore, I think certain clusters have inherently their own advantage. For example, Mangalore is very advanced in fintech. The first banks came out of Bangalore. Likewise, Mysore, for the semiconductors, manufacturing and design sector, there is a big potential that they have already shown. Likewise, in the Hubli Dharwad area, because of the manufacturing base that is already there, electronics and then EV, etc., they have their own sense. Banking on this, but then, we are trying to encourage all the deep technologies across and beyond Bangalore. That is how we are planning. And since inherently some of them already have their strengths, we are trying to build upon it further. But it doesn't mean that other sectors are not encouraged there. But then we are trying to see already what is easily achievable can be further scaled up. That is a strategy. So that's what we think it'll be.
Absolutely. I also want to talk a little bit about the incentives that you've planned, which is an important part of the policy document that you've released. Let me read them out. Patent subsidies is one. SGST reimbursements, R&D project grants, and internship support. Given the fact that the first 2 of these, are sweeteners, so to speak, to ensure that you attract more startup talent, do you think subsidies and reimbursements or, SGST on the SGST front would be very critical to attract more companies being set up out of Karnataka? Is that going to be a very important part of the way you take the startup policy forward?
I think it will be one of the ways, probably not the way, but then because any company to set up will also look at the entire ecosystem. I think one of these is, like you said, a sweetener, but it's one of the aid or which helps them further, And talking about beyond Bangalore, as it is, the cost will be a little bit lesser than Bangalore, 20-25% actually must be, that's what we are expecting. The cost will, because the travel cost and other things will come down, the real estate cost or office space cost, all this will come down. Anyway, apart from this, even considering Bangalore, what we are saying is that these incentives will kind of support at least the, the startups which are scaling up, or even the industry which is growing, that will support them. Because it's a substantial cost of manpower, even electricity duty waiver and things like that are also built into the, of course, it's the startup policy, but I'm saying these are also things like rentals, reimbursement of the Provident Fund and ESI, which they have to spend, internship for industries, to nurture the talent, skilling them. So we are encouraging student internship programs in the industry. So it will help them further, and they will also positively take it up. So that's the idea.
All right, moving on to an ET Now exclusive then. Sources tell ET Now that Zomato will soon share customer data to the restaurants. The food delivery company has also started seeking customer consent for the same. Anjali joins with more details.
Right. In a major breakthrough for restaurants, food aggregator platform Zomato has agreed to share customer information with the restaurants. Now, Zomato has started collecting customer consent for sharing this data with the restaurants. So, on anyone's updated Zomato app, on the first instance of placing an order, you will be asked for your permission of whether you want to share your phone number with the restaurants or not. Now, the National Restaurants Association of India is the association, is the body that was in conversation with Zomato to roll out this feature. They're still discussing with Zomato on how the information can hereon be passed to the restaurant and what is the additional information that they wish to collect. Other than the phone number, name and address are some things that the NRAI wants to collect from the customers. However, Zomato's CEO has clarified in a ex post that they will currently be only collecting the phone numbers of consenting customers, and this is a feature that they are rolling out. They've even asked for customer feedback on this. Now, NRAI has also been in talks with Swiggy for a similar feature to be rolled out on that food aggregator platforms as well. Now, for a while, there has been this tussle between the restaurants and food aggregators apps over the sharing of information. Earlier, only the name and the macro level data was being shared with the restaurants, but now they have increasingly been asking for more visibility on the customers, and we're seeing a feature rollout on Zomato in that regard. Now, NRAI says that the objectives for this collection of data is fourfold. One is to track the customer journey better. Second is to strengthen their loyalty benefit programs, to sort of have the visibility on dining as well as online orders to offer loyalty benefits. Third is to understand the customer preferences, and on the basis of that, or the fourth objective is to give customized offers and promotional offers to the customers. So those are the reasons behind restaurants asking for this data. But yes, as of now, Zomato is the platform that is rolling out this feature and asking for customers' consent on whether they want to share their phone number with the restaurants or not.
Moving on then, Nvidia has beat the Wall Street expectations yet again, posting a third quarter revenue of $57 billion and earnings of 1.3 per share, both ahead of the estimates. The company also issued a blockbuster forecast projecting a $65 billion in quarter four sales, which is far higher than what the analysts expected. CEO Jensen Huang said demand for Nvidia's latest GPU line, Blackwell, is off the charts, with data center revenue surging 66%, driven by compute and networking. The stock jumped over 4% in extended trade as Nvidia reaffirmed that the AI boom is nowhere close to a bubble, with hyperscalers including Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Oracle and Meta driving the orders. My colleague Anjali Palod is now joining us with the highlights of that.
Nvidia declared its quarter 3 results, and the numbers look quite healthy, starting with the revenue that was at $57,006 million versus $46,231 million last quarter, that is up 23.3% on a QOQ basis. EBIT at $37,752 million, up 25.2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. PAT is at $31,767 million versus $25,783 million last quarter, again up 23.2% QOQ. The EBIT margin, that is also expanded, which is currently at 66.2% for Q3 versus 64.5%, an expansion of 169 basis points quarter on quarter on the EBIT margin as well. If you compare this to what the consensus was on this number, it's been a beat on all fronts. If you look at the revenue, that's up 3.3% from the consensus, EBIT up 3.5% from consensus, and PAT up 2.85% from consensus. So the results are much better than what was expected. expected. A few key highlights from the Q3 results from Nvidia. Now, these strong Q3 numbers kind of puts to rest or dispels concerns of an AI bubble forming up, as there has been growth on all fronts. The company sees a total of $3 to $4 trillion of annual AI infra build opportunity, and Nvidia has now become world's largest networking business. They said that they are going to be investing aggressively for multi-year AI growth runway. And if we look at the data center, there has been a record data center revenue of $51.2 billion, up 25% quarter on quarter and 66% year on year. The outlook for Q4, the revenue guidance is at 65,000 million, that is plus or minus 2% there. Gross margin guidance, that is also expected to expand somewhere at 74.8%, that's the guidance. And operating expenses have been guided at $6,700 million. But overall, a beat on all fronts versus estimates, a very healthy quarter coming in from Nvidia for the third quarter.
And well, the new age company executives made a blockbuster entry into the $1 million CXO club in FY25, according to an analysis of the BSE 200 companies by executive search firm EMA Partners India. Now, they captured 4 out of the top 10 slots in the $1 million CXO list. My colleague Shubhani Gharad gets you the details. Let's take a look.
Now, big money is no longer just for the old guard. In FY25, new age CXOs stormed right into India's elite $1 million club, bagging 4 of the top 10 spots. Their pay packages, in fact, swelled. Total CXO compensation jumped 36%, surging to a whopping 7,025 crore rupees. So who's leading the charge? Well, it's Policy Bazaar's co-founder, Yashish Dahiya, as you can see, with a jaw-dropping 641.32 crore rupees in compensation. That included 638.35 crore in exercise stock options. His co-founder also made it to the list. His co-founder and executive vice chairman Alok Bansal, as you can see, was third with a 247.98 crore rupees in compensations. That included ESOPs. Now, Swiggy's done well too. 2 of its top executives, including co-founder Sriharsha Majety, made the list, along with Lakshmi Nandan Reddy Obul, whole-time director and head of innovation at Swiggy, at 6th position with a total compensation of 90.28 crore rupees, 88.33 crore from ESOPs. And Sriharsha Majety, who's a co-founder and group CEO of Swiggy, at 9th with a total compensation of 76.61 crore rupees, 74.75 crore from ESOP. So what's driving this entire pay bonanza? Boards are now rewarding founders not just for the vision, but for operational performance as well. Additionally, several founder or promoter-led companies also, particularly in the new age and digital consumer retail sectors, went public this year. Going forward, with a number of startups planning IPOs, it's likely that several in their top management will make an entry into this particular elite $1 million club, especially through ESOP's valuation going forward.
And well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Central. I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in.